Hey there, my name is Peter. You probably have seen a couple of other videos on YouTube about how to find an ideal web developer. We are going to actually dive really deep into the web development process from the standpoint of a web development company, and I'm going to uncover some of the really critical questions that you need to ask your web developer before you are starting a web development project. If you want to order a website through us, I will be more than happy to put together a website for you. But here are the 5 questions, critical questions that you need to ask your web developer or the agency that you are planning to work with. The very first question is the discovery session. Does your web developer or web development agency that you'll be working with, do they have a discovery session? How much time are they spending understanding your business? And are they able to create customer profile, your customer profile? That is really important. Before any web development starts, we need to first understand who your ideal customer is, because everything that we do has to relate to your specific customer. Number 2, research. So the discovery session is when we talk about your business, identify what the client needs. The research is when we actually do our homework. We dive into the internet and we look at other competitors. We look at local market and local competitors. If it's nationwide, then we look at nationwide competitors. And we need to identify who is our competition. How are we going to position the website so it ranks better or on the same field, same level field as the competition. The truth is that if the website is not up to par with your competition, you will not be able to generate much leads, if any at all, because the guy that is able to put together a better presentation is the one that will collect all of the leads, and I'm talking about all of the leads. So it's critically important that we do our research. Number 3. The web development process. This is actually the most important element out of all of the 5 elements. And I want to really drive it home in here, because the web development process is where a lot of agencies don't actually do their work correctly, and they don't present that information to the client. And this is more of a complicated area for clients to understand that order websites. So we're going to highlight a couple of questions that you need to make sure you ask your web developer before you start working on the website. The very first question is, do you do wireframes? Wireframes are basic diagrams that are black and white that have basic structural elements of your website or the website to be. So wireframes are paramount, really important, because without a wireframe you will not have a sound structure, logical structure. That means that agency most likely doesn't have UI UX designer. UI UX designer is usual user interface, user experience designers. So they are the people that make sure that information is laid out in such a way that it is easy to understand, that the information flows, that it's condensed enough, and that it builds proper credibility. All of those things are really important, and that is addressed in the wireframing stage. If they tell you that they do wireframes, make sure that you see those wireframes. They might tell you that they do wireframes, that they will never show them to you. Make sure that the wireframe stage is approved by you before you move on to the second stage. So basically we're talking about 3 main stages. The wireframe stage is the very first one. And the wireframes, they should be done professionally. They shouldn't be drawn by hand or on a napkin. They are done in specific programs that are designed to do web wireframing. If you do not have wireframes for your website, that's a huge red flag. I would make sure that you find a different developer if you're not provided with wireframing stage. Okay, so the second item of the design stage or web development stage is the graphic design stage. So once the wireframes are approved by you and you have seen and you had the opportunity to move around different blocks and make sure that everything flows through really smoothly, Usually you get wireframes for every page that that you order. So it's if it's a 5-page website, usually you'll get 5 pages of wireframes, 1 page per each website. So once you approve all of the 5 pages, then the second stage is the graphic design stage. Graphic designs, basically they will take the wireframe and they will add pictures, colors, they will add your logo. The way that usually graphic design is done is that they will take your logo if you have one. If you don't have one, well, at least within my agency, Webbaker will design a logo for you. But if you have a logo, they will extrapolate the colors from the logo to make sure that the website is synchronized with your logo. Everything has to relate to something, and logo is the most important element of any business. So website colors are derived from the logo colors. So you'll have an ability to make modifications and changes to the graphic design. So you'll get PDF file, or you might get an image JPEG file to your email. Then you'll be able to make comments and ask them to move things around, change the colors, all of that stuff. That's really important. Graphic design stage cannot be skipped, because if you go directly from the wireframe to the web development stage, for example, web development meaning the last stage, then it's very difficult to make modifications to the graphic design, and you'll be stuck in a loop that you want things modified. The web developer isn't happy because they were spending way too much time recoding your website. In graphic design, it's a lot faster and easier to get the look and feel of the website before we actually start programming it. The last stage of the web development process is actually web development. So make sure that that is the last stage. Usually with a lot of web development agencies, that is the very first stage and the very last stage. So make sure you don't fall under that. If that is the case, run as far as you can. Because if you get a website out of the blue with some template on it, that template is mostly likely built with a visual builder that has a ton of accelerators or caching plugins. Basically, it's a hamburger of a mess. Definitely not something that you'll be able to swallow. And that type of website usually breaks in about 2 years. So to save your time and money, make sure that you have those 2 stages before you get to the development stage. Development stage, critically important you ask the right questions. So the very first question is, are you using any type of accelerators, caching plugins once the website is finished? If the answer is yes, and we need to make sure that your website runs fast, that's a red flag. I wouldn't say it's a red flag, but it's a yellowish red flag. So you might ask the following questions. Why do you need the accelerator plugins? Isn't the WordPress, if they're using WordPress platform, fast enough to deliver all of the content? So listen to that answer. If they're saying that they need that because they're using visual builders, or they're using a template that requires it, that's a very bad sign. Those websites don't really last for too long. If the answer is they are not using because the website is custom built, that's the answer that you're looking for. Now the next question, please provide us with a list of plugins that you'll be using. Really important. If that list of plugins is fairly long, huge red flag. If the list is very short, that's what you're looking for, a very short list of plugins. I would say in the range of about between 5 plugins to 15 plugins, that would work really well. Make sure that those plugins do not include visual builders and accelerators or caching plugins. There's a lot of them, so I would take some time to research each plugin that they give you to make sure that they are not caching plugins and that they're not visual builders. So that's the question that you want to ask. If they are reluctant to give you the list of plugins, and if they're unhappy with that question, again, it's a red sign, big red sign. Okay, question number 3, when it comes to web development, what kind of theme are they using? Ask them for a theme name that they that they will be using. I usually like to go fairly obscure with that question. Pretend that you want to know the theme. If they give you a theme, specific theme name, look it up. A lot of themes, they are built in such a way that a non-developer is able to put together a website. A lot of agencies, what they do is that they learn one specific theme and then they build websites like pancakes using that theme. The problem is that if that theme stops being supported by the theme creators, you are in trouble, because most likely the website will need to be rebuilt. Also, the theme-based websites, they're difficult to modify, difficult to update, difficult to manage, and difficult to customize. So you will be buying into something that's difficult to maintain down the road. And likely you'll have a big maintenance cost, or the developer will not be able to recover your website if it fails. So ask what theme they will be using. If they will come back to you with the answer that they are not using a theme because the website is custom built, they're actually building a theme for you, that's the answer that you're looking for. And the last question, if they come back with the answer that they are custom building a theme for you, ask them if they are using advanced custom fields, ACF plugin. And this actually ties in back to the question what kind of plugins you're using. So make sure that if they are custom building a theme, make sure that ACF, Advanced Custom Fields, ACF Pro version is implemented within the website. This allows you to make modifications to your own content in the back end of the WordPress fairly easily, and you'll be able to manage your own content on your website. This is what high-end web development agencies are doing. That's what they're using. So if you see ACF inside the backend administration, really great. I would really work with that agency. Okay, so on number 4, it's going to be a fairly quick one. Maintenance. Ask them how much it will take to maintain the website. If they tell you that there is no maintenance, or the maintenance is fairly small, I would question that. Because usually the maintenance is within about $70 to, I've seen up to $900, but my recommendation is that you buy into some sort of a maintenance package, even if it's something as small as about $90 a month. That will ensure that everything runs smoothly. No matter how well the website is built, it needs to go through PHP script updates, JavaScript changes all the time, WordPress changes all the time. Websites, they need maintenance, and if they're not maintained 2 or 3 years, 4 years, they will become obsolete. So just make sure that there is somebody that will be able to maintain your website, and somebody that will be able to respond to your questions. One of the biggest problems that I actually see in the market right now is that web developers run away from their clients. This mainly happens because of the lack of maintenance packages. They don't charge for maintenance, and there is no incentive for them to stick around and continue to make sure that the website runs smoothly. So they earn $2,000 or $3,000 on the web development project, and they make sure that they abandon the client because they don't want to have that client come in asking them to make modifications to the website that is failing, and that becomes a liability for them. They spend more time and money changing the existing website and trying to get back up and running and working, and they lose money on it. So without maintenance package, there is a very high likelihood that the web developer will run away from you, and you will be in search of another developer that will likely tell you that you need to rebuild your website. So maintenance is important, and that's one of the reasons why. There's a gazillion other reasons why a website needs to be maintained properly. Okay, finally, number 5, prices. Prices for the websites, they are extremely custom, and each website has their own price range. And a single-paged website can be between $300 and up to $5,000. Really depends on the complexity and the functionality that is within the website. Generally speaking, an $850 dollars for a single page website is a good price. It's a good price for the high level work that we're talking about. If we're talking about a template that will break and your web developer will run away from you and you'll have to rebuild your website in a year or two, $350 is justifiable. If we're talking about the high-end platform that you will need to grow your business, $850 will be pretty much your starting point. So you do pay for what you get, and you get for what you pay. In web development, it is the prices are all over the place, but that is because there are so many ways of building websites that a non-developer can develop a website now, and that will be very inexpensive, but it will work just as well. So hopefully that was informative. Please don't forget to smash that like button, and also if you have time, please put down a message or something along those lines. I do read all of the messages that are in the comment section. All right, thanks. Take care. Bye.